Welcome into the Rewind Sports Network on KSLSports.com. As always, presented by Heinemann Associates. Alex Napoli is here with you at Zions Bank Stadium as we get ready to kick off the 3A Girls Soccer Championship game. It is the number 4 in the RPI, the Morgan Trojans, getting ready to take on the number 6 in the Ogden Tigers here at Zions Bank to crown a 3A champion. It'll be the Ogden Tigers in the all-white, shooting to the left of your screen here in the first half, and it will be the Morgan Trojans in the all-reds, shooting to the, or burgundy, shooting to the right of your screen. Getting the final preparations at Zions Bank Stadium here ready, as we are moments away from kicking off this 3A championship game between the Tigers and the Trojans. There's the whistle. Morgan, get us underway here in the 3A championship game. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the next 80 minutes of the beautiful game. Ball brought down by the Tigers. Here comes Weston trying to get it out wide to Buse. Nice coming across is Macy Miller, who boots this one out and away. Throw-in coming up here for the Ogden Tigers on the near sideline. Throw it in, played by Grace Litz. In the middle now for Gray. Gray plays it back to Litz. Litz will play it to Gray. Gray up the sideline to Weston. Weston cuts inside. Weston now near the top of the 18. Booted away by Toon. And tracked down by Evans. Poked away. Trojans get it out. Quickly recovered by the Tigers. And now that ball will roll out of bounds and out over on the far sideline. A throw-in coming up here for the Ogden Tigers. Ball played in to Mindy Frost. Now here's the Trojans on the attack over on the far sideline with Peterson. Peterson whips one into the box and into the hands of Grace Mallon, and collected well by the Tigers goalkeeper. Good early opportunity by the Morgan Trojans. As that ball takes a bounce, lands at Macy Miller. Ball booted away. Burton with the header. Gets it to the near side for Bailey Anderson. Anderson now looking for support. Burton boots it away. Comes down to Sophia Gray. Gray will play it in to G. Ball given away. Nicely poked away by Amy Thomas. Thomas trying to get it up to Peterson. Advantage played and won back by the Ogden Tigers. And now in the middle of the park for Sophia Gray. Gray goes to ground. A whistle and a foul will call. The free kick coming up here for the Ogden Tigers. Take a look at these two sides here in the 3A Girls Soccer Championship game. For the designated home side of the Morgan Trojans, led by head coach Brian Cyril. They are the number 4 in the RPI, 15-5 overall. That ball through into the hands of Fisher. 15-5 overall on the year, 9-1 in region play. Finished tied at the top of Region 13 with this Ogden Tigers side. 94 goals scored on the season, 20 goals against. And these are two region rivals going head-to-head here in this 3A championship game. The first game won by the Ogden Tigers 2-1. And then the Trojans came back and beat the Tigers 3-2 in the second game of region play. Trojans coming to this one on a 12-game winning streak. Got the first round bye with their number 4 seed. Beat number 13 Juab 8-0 in the second round. Got a big quarterfinal win against the Carbon Dinos, 5-0 against the number 5 in the RPI. And then in the semifinals earlier this week, got a huge win against the number 1 Judge Memorial, taking them down 2-1 thanks to a free kick goal by Macy Burton. to set themselves up here for a 3A championship game. Weston on the ball for the Tigers. Ball poked away by the Trojans. For the Ogden Tigers, led by first-year head coach Alexis King. Coming to this one at 14-7 overall, 9-1 region play. Again, tied at the top of the region with the Morgan Trojans. The number 6 in the RPI, 92 goals scored on this season, 23 goals against. Ogden won that first game against the Trojans in region play 2-1. Lost the second game to the Trojans 3-2 to set up that tie at the top of the region. Got the first round bye with their number 6 seed, beat number 11 Delta 7-0 in the second round. Got a quarterfinal win against Cannon View 7-0 against the number 3 in the RPI, and then beat the Manti Templars, number 2 in the RPI, 3-0 earlier this week in the semifinal to set themselves up here in the 3A championship game. Ball back in play, takes a bounce. As that ball goes out of bounds and out. A throw-in coming up for the Tigers. Ball played in. Bella Gray brings it in. Intercepted by Evans. Now here come the Trojans. It's Charlton. Charlton, who got one of the goals in that 2-1 win against Judge. Plays it back to Burton. Trying to play it out wide in the direction of Bailey Anderson as this one goes out of bounds and out. Throw-in coming up here. Ball comes down, given away by Gonzalez. The Trojans now crosses into the box, and Gonzalez recovers by clearing this one away. Burton picks it off. The Trojans still on the attack. Here comes Thomas. Thomas looking for support. Thomas gets it out as it takes a deflection off of Gray. Throw in by the Trojans. Ball played in. Looking for Charlton. One back by El Weston. Coming across is Emma Toon to win this back for Morgan. Ball played in and cleared away by the Tigers. It's Bella Gray. Gray cuts back. Looks to float one over the top behind the defense. And they have a runner. Macy Miller trying to come across to intercept and does. Denies Moss from getting on the end of this one. Macy Miller doing a fantastic job defensively. Coming across, boots this one out. A corner coming up here for the Tigers. What a ball played in behind by Bella Gray for Ogden. And a corner kick set piece opportunity here for the Tigers. Only 3 in the box for Ogden. And this corner will be left for Bella Gray as Gray heads over to that far sideline. Three in the box for Ogden, 2 standing at the top of the 18, waiting to crash in. Set piece opportunity, ball whipped in by Gray near post. Fisher has to bat this one out. And another corner coming up here for the Tigers. .32-28 left to go here in the first half. Tigers with another corner as Bella Gray looks to whip this one in. The ball comes in, goes near post. Fisher gets a paw on it. Comes back out at the back post for G. Couldn't get it off, and it goes out of bounds, and now a goal kick coming up here for the Morgan Trojans. And an opportunity to clear away the pressure from Ogden. Ball goes over to the far sideline. Nicely done by Paul to bring that one in. Now goes to Charlton. Charlton cuts inside, has options. Goes wide, looking for Peterson. Ball tracked down by Abigail Wallace for the Tigers. And Peterson gets the final touch. Can't bring that one in. Out of bounds and out. Ogden Tigers throw. Quickly one back by the Trojans. Here comes Peterson. Peterson tries to whip one in. And that one will go straight into the hands of Grace Mallon for the Tigers. Ball booted away. Comes out to Megan Buse. Out to Bella Gray. Gray cuts it back, looks for options. And that ball intercepted by the Trojans. Macy Miller there to boot it away. Over the top, giving chase is Litz. Mallon has to come off her line and boot this one out. Dangerous ball played back, but Mallon able to get this one out, and it goes out of bounds and out. A throw in for the Trojans over on that far sideline. It'll be Burton to throw it in. Looking for Charlton. Charlton brings it down near the top of the 18. Charlton back to Burton. Nicely intercepted by Bella Gray up the sideline. Can't keep that one in as it goes out of bounds and out for the goal kick. Or excuse me, for the throw-in. Ball comes out. Paul trying to win it back for the Trojans. Here's the Tigers in possession. Bella Gray cuts it back. Now looking for options. Gets it to Sophia Gray. Gray out wide. To Litz. And that ball goes out of bounds. Throw-in coming up here for the Ogden Tigers again. Litz to throw it in. Moss trying to bring that one down for Ogden. One back by Morgan as that ball's booted out and away. This time for a Trojans throw. This is a rematch of last year's 3A championship game. Last year, Ogden and Morgan going head-to-head for the 3A crown. The Tigers came out victorious in that one, 3-1. The Tigers are the defending champions, looking to defend their crown. Morgan back into the championship game after falling last season. The Morgan Trojans looking for state championship number 4. Winning it last in 2020. The Ogden Tigers, of course, looking to go back-to-back with state championship number 6 for the Tigers. 28-40 left to go here in the first half. We're all tied up at 0-0 here in the 3A championship game. Trojans with a free kick. Burton will boot this one away. Lands at Sophia Gray for Ogden. Tries to get it to Bella Gray. Now Sophia Gray back on the ball. Gray goes to the near sideline for Weston. Weston cuts back. Tries to get past her. Defender does. Around Bailey Anderson. Now Weston. Playing it to Buse. And that one will go all the way back to Fisher. Fisher to boot this one away for Morgan. Quickly went back by Ogden. And now here's Burton in possession for the Trojans. Burton looking for Peterson. Nicely stepped by Abigail Wallace. Intercepted by Charlton. Comes across, wins it back well. Here's Charlton back on the ball. Goes back to Gonzalez. And now Gonzalez looking for options as trying to connect here with Bella Gray. That ball will go all the way out of bounds and out for the Trojans throw. Nice hustle by Bella Gray to try to keep that one in. Substitutions coming up here for the Trojans as Sage Jones checks into the game, as well as Samantha Moses.
Substitutions for Morgan, number 55, Sage Jones. Number 18, Samantha Moses.
Ball in play over on that far sideline for Paul. Now back to Paul. Paul up the sideline. Coming across to boot this one away is Hannah Lewis for the Tigers. Throw in for Morgan in the attacking third. And here's Burton to throw it in. Trying to find an opportunity to play one into the box with a long throw. Paul bringing it down, takes a heavy touch. Sage Jones tracking this one down. Jones goes to ground, a foul called, and a free kick coming up here for the Trojans. And an opportunity for Macy Burton to go for goal. Maybe try to whip one into the box. 2 on the wall for the Tigers. 5 in the box for the Trojans as Burton standing over the free kick to take. Burton steps up, goes for goal, and puts it in! Oh, what a golazo! Macy Burton does it again! From long distance! Off the free kick! Incredible! Macy Burton scored the free kick in the semifinals to put the Trojans into the final. And now Burton has the opening goal off the long distance free kick. Puts it into the top corner. And the Trojans lead it 1-0 with 25:45 left to go here in the first half. What a shot and what a goal by Macy Burton. That's goal number 19 for Burton on the season. Off the long distance free kick. Trojans up 1-0. Fisher boots this one away. And miscommunication here between 2 Trojans has that ball back with the Tigers. Bella Gray tries to poke one through. Macy Miller there boots this one away. How will the Tigers respond after going down? Plenty of firepower on this Ogden Tigers attack. See if they can find an equalizer prior to the halftime break. Substitution for Ogden.
Number 13, Macy Burton. Morgan 1 and Ogden 0.
Braylee Thomas checking in for the Tigers. Off comes Bella Gray. Ball back in play for Ogden. Ball booted away by Morgan. Headed away by Hannah Lewis. Comes down to the goal scorer, Burton. Now comes to Charlton. Charlton plays it to Weston. Weston turns, tries to get it back outside. Peterson with the interception. Peterson goes to ground. And now Moses on the ball. Moses tries to get it up, lands at G. Here's G for Ogden, put it away by Toon. Now Lacey Paul trying to get to the end of it. Paul with time and space, looking for options. Ball whipped in, comes off of Litz, and Litz boots this one away. Ball goes out of bounds and out. Throw it for the Trojans over on that far sideline here in the attacking third as they lead it 1-0. Ball whipped into the box. Off the long throw, here's Sophia Gray getting it out wide to Moses. Moses up to Buse. Buse back to Moses. Ogden trying to hit on a quick counter with Sophia Gray. Gray up the sideline, back to Buse. Buse takes a heavy touch. Nicely defended by Emma Toon. That one goes out of bounds and out. Ball played into the box. Goes out of bounds. Buse trying to keep that one in. It'll be a throw-in for the Trojans over on that far sideline. Comes off of Paul. Now it's Sophia Gray for the Tigers. Can't keep this one in. Out of bounds and out once more. This time a throw-in for the Trojans over on the far sideline. And they'll call it an illegal throw, so we'll take it over for the Tigers as the Tigers throw it in. Ball in play here with G. Gonzalez plays it back to Lewis. Lewis looking to play it up the sideline for Gray. Takes a deflection out of bounds and out once more. A throw-in for the Tigers over on the far sideline. Throw in here for Ogden. Comes down to Weston. Weston will leave it for Litz. Goes back to Weston. Weston with time and space. Looking for options. Gets it to Thomas. Thomas into Buse. Buse with the heavy touch. Booted away by Miller. Two now with the header. Still can't clear. Now ball out by Thomas. Quickly one back. Charlton for the Trojans. Takes a bounce. Burton trying to get it there with a header as the ball lands back with the Tigers. Here is G. G with a nice cut. G back in the middle for Weston. Weston taking it past Toon. Weston into the box. Nicely defended again by Macy Miller. Macy Miller continuing the strong defensive performance from the semifinals. Miller was everywhere on the defensive side for the Trojans. Now here in the early goings, doing a good job of being everywhere for the Trojans again against this potent Tiger attack. Ball booted away. Goes out of bounds and out. A throw-in for the for the Tigers over on that far sideline. Booted away by Miller. Comes down to Gonzalez. Gonzalez will play it to Litz. And that ball booted away. Goes out of bounds and out. Tigers ball. Ball comes back in. Here's the Tigers in possession with Moss. Moss cuts back. Goes towards the sideline. Looks to play it up to Weston. Nice step by Toon. Tigers in possession here with G. G cuts back around two. Thomas with a huge defensive effort. Thomas goes to ground on this second attempt from Gray. And that one will be a free kick coming up here for the Morgan Trojans. And an opportunity to boot this one away. 19-13 left to go here in the first. It is a 1-0 lead to the Morgan Trojan thanks to a golazo free kick for Macy Burton. Ball booted over the top. Trojans trying to extend the lead. Cleared away by the Tigers. Comes down now to Weston for Ogden. Trying to turn. Leaves it for Gray. Off the official. We'll have a stoppage as a free kick coming up for Ogden with the touch on the ref. Ball booted up and away. Weston lets it bounce. Miller there with a header. Gets it away. Paul trying to keep that one in. Does. Nicely done by Paul over on that far sideline. Almost given away by the Trojans. Miller there to boot it away. Substitutions coming up here for both sides as Evans back into the game for the Trojans, as well as Reese Crowther in for the Trojans. Bella Gray back in for Ogden as well. Bella Gray, who had 2 goals in that 3-0 win for the Ogden Tigers in the semifinal matchup. Now back into the game for Ogden. Ball comes down for the Trojans, booted away as Sage Jones trying to bring that one in. Thomas now in possession for the Tigers. And who else but Macy Miller to boot this one away. Ball comes in for Charlton. Cleared away by the Tigers. Trojans trying to regain possession. And Buse winning it for Ogden. Buse will go back to Wallace. Wallace gets it away, only to find Moses. Moses back into the box. Comes down to Charlton. Charlton looking for options. Has to go all the way back out to Burton. Burton around Buse. Nicely defended by G to win it back. Ogden in possession here with Bella Gray. Gray in the middle of the park with time and space. Cuts back, gets it on her right. Looking for options. Towards this Weston. Weston into the box. Weston with the shot, and Weston with the offside flag raised. As L. Weston caught it in an offside position. Nicely defended by the Trojans. Either way, despite the offside flag raised, L. Weston could not get a shot off thanks to that defensive effort by Morgan. And now a free kick coming up here for the Trojans to boot this one away off the offsides. Ball goes out to Weston. Ogden here in possession. Up the far sideline. And that ball goes out of bounds and out. Buse trying to track it down for Ogden. Can't keep that one in. Substitutions coming up here for the Trojans as Amy Thomas back into the game.
Number 5, Amy Thomas.
Goal kick here for the Trojans as Morgan boot this one away. Goes out of bounds and out. Ball back in play. Takes another deflection as this one goes out. It'll be a throw-in for the Tigers here on the near side. Wallace to throw it in. Wallace gets it back in play. Comes down to Thomas. Wallace boots this one away. Takes a bounce. Buse bringing it in. Gets it on her right. Looking for options. Tries to get it to Wallace. Nicely defended by Peterson. Peterson on the ball for the Trojans. Now up the sideline. Nicely defended by Abigail Wallace, who comes up with the slide, makes the tackle, and gets this one poked out of bounds and out. Throw in here for Morgan on the near sideline. Burton will throw it in.
Substitution, number 16, Lacey Paul.
Lacey Paul back into the game for the Trojans. Comes down to Wallace. Given away as Morgan back in possession here on the near sideline. Thomas trying to keep this one in. Goes out of bounds and out. Peterson. Out of bounds again. It'll be a throw-in for the Tigers. We have a late whistle and a foul called. Free kick coming up here for Ogden, and an opportunity to clear their lines. Headed by Moses. Now Buse trying to get on the end of it. Macy Miller comes across, boots this one away. And a corner kick coming up here for the Ogden Tigers. Looking for an opportunity to tie things up. Can they get one in here on the set piece opportunity? Bella Gray to play it in for Ogden. Gray, ball whipped in, goes back post, poked through and wide. Looks like that was G at the back post who got the shot off. And G unfortunately can't put it on frame. Goes wide of that far back post, out of bounds and out. And a goal kick coming up here for Morgan. Ball booted away by Toon. Now comes down and out wide. Out of bounds and out once more over on that far sideline here for the Tigers. Ball back in play. Headed away by Summers. Now back in for Ogden. Bella Gray trying to get on the end of it. One back by the Trojans. Burton trying to get around G. And a foul called. Free kick coming up here for the designated home side in the Morgan Trojans, and an opportunity to play this one into the attacking third. Burton standing over it to take. Burton will boot this one up and away. Comes down now for Jansen, and Ogden boots this one over the top, looking for options, but it'll just roll out of bounds, and now a throw-in coming up for the Morgan Trojans over on that far sideline. $11 left to go here in the first half. The Morgan Trojans lead it 1-0 again, thanks to that goal from Macy Burton, the long-distance free kick that ended up in the back of the net. That is the difference so far here in the 3A championship game. See if Ogden have a response in the final moments of this first half to try to tie this one up. Trojans in the attacking third trying to double this lead. Quickly one back by Bella Gray. Gray over the top. And here comes Buse. Cuts it back. Buse with options. Takes it, tries to poke it through to Weston, and ball given away. Macy Miller with the defensive recovery. Now here comes Charlton for the Trojans, going the other way. Charlton to Peterson, into the box, off her line is Mellon, and makes a huge save. Both Kendall Peterson and Lacey Paul were trying to get that ball inside the box, but the senior goalkeeper, Grace Mallon, off her line for Ogden, recovers and gets this one away. On the other end now, Weston trying to get on the end of it. Miller there. Takes a touch off of Macy Miller, and we'll have a corner kick coming up here for the Tigers with 9:30 left to go. Corner kick for Ogden over on the far sideline. It'll be Bella Gray heading over to take for Ogden. Only 3 Tigers inside the box. Weston at the near post, Buse at the back post. And now Weston running over for a potential short corner. Only 2 Tigers in the box. Bella Gray and Weston over on that far sideline, played short to Weston. Weston back to Gray. Gray cuts inside, step over, looking for options, cuts back, now cuts back past Miller. Bella Gray with the shot, takes the deflection. And now Bella Gray. Gray again from distance, can't put it on frame as it goes over and out for the goal kick. Bella Gray trying to find the equalizer on 2 long-distance efforts.
Number 25, Rankley Moss.
First one defended well by the Trojans. The second one goes over the bar and out. And here's the Trojans off the goal kick. Ball goes out wide to Somers. Trojans losing out possession. Here's the Tigers. Ball out wide to Weston. Weston up the sideline, poked away by Macy Miller. Ball in play here with the Morgan Trojans, with the Tigers as Weston brings it in. Weston now into the box, poked away by Emma Toon. And a corner kick, another corner coming up here for the Ogden Tigers, trying to find an equalizer prior to the halftime break. Bella Gray over on the far sideline to take for the Tigers. Set piece opportunity coming up here for Ogden. Sophia Gray runs for the short corner. making sure that there's enough distance between the Trojans and the Tigers over on that far sideline for the corner kick. Bella Gray having a conversation with Sophia Gray, trying to set a set-piece opportunity up here. Gray for the short corner. Late runner in Hannah Lewis now inside the box. The ball whipped in, goes near post. Fisher comes up and makes the catch. Good read by Maddie Fisher, stepping off her line, comes up with the catch off the corner and boots this one away for the Trojans. Peterson lets it bounce. Peterson with the head, now gets it to Charlton. Coming across is Gonzalez, intercepting, and a Tiger down behind the play as Wallace on the turf. Quickly, the Morgan trading staff heading over to take a look at Wallace now. The Ogden staff also on to take a look at Wallace. We'll take a quick step aside here on the Rewind Sports Network. Stoppage in play, 6:07 left to play here in the first half. Welcome back into Zions Bank Stadium. Good to see Abigail Wallace back on her feet, heading over towards that far sideline to the Ogden bench. Francisco checking into the game to replace Abigail Wallace. And now ball back in play. Francisco trying to keep that one from going out. It'll go out of bounds and out. A corner kick coming up here for the Morgan Trojans on the near sideline. It'll be Lacey Paul to take for Morgan. Everybody lined up at the back post for the Trojans. The ball low driven to the near post. Peterson was on the end of it. Couldn't redirect that one on frame as it goes out of bounds and out. Ball back in play quickly by the Tigers off the goal kick. Out wide, Bella Gray. Nice step by Somers to try to cut that one out. Here comes the Tigers in possession in the back with Hannah Lewis. Lewis plays it up for Bella Gray. Gray cuts inside. Carries with time and space in possession for the Tigers. Looking to play one over the top. Buse running off of it. Moses covers. Fisher off her line, and Maddie Fisher collecting well here for the Trojans. Ball booted away. In possession is Thomas. Thomas floats one over the top. Paul brings it down. Paul tries to hit it on the volley and doesn't hit that one cleanly. Just gets a little bit too much under it. Can't redirect it on frame. Mallon able to collect and recover here for the Tigers as this ball's booted away. Weston in the middle of the park. Out wide to Bella Gray. Gray with possession here for the Tigers. Inside, looking for options. Gray, step over. Still looking for options. Cuts back against Toon. Ball played back to Sophia Gray. Gray looks to whip one into Buse. Takes a bounce, and Buse gets a header on it. Can't redirect it on frame as it goes past the post and out. Fisher stepped up to try to get on the end of it. Good heads-up play there by Megan Buse as she gets a head on it. Beats Fisher to the ball, but unfortunately can't put it on frame. Would have been a good opportunity here for the Tigers to try to tie it up before the halftime break. Ball comes down now and out of bounds for another Tigers throw. Ball in play and booted away. Comes out now to Paul. Paul trying to get around Gray. Nicely defended by Sophia Gray. Bella Gray now in possession. Gray gets it out wide. Almost cut out by Somers. Giving chase there was Litz. Trying to keep that one in. Out of bounds and out. Trojan ball. Booted away by Bella Gray. Throwing for the Trojans over on that far sideline. Ball brought down by Morgan. Here's Charlton. Charlton takes a bounce, lands at Jones. Jones tries to get it out to Peterson. Peterson giving chase. Francisco trying to come across. Cut one by Peterson, and Gonzalez clears this one away. Peterson using her speed to get around her defender. Cut out by Gonzalez. A throw-in for the Trojans here in the attacking third. Burton will look to whip one into the box off the long throw. 2 minutes left to play in the first. Burton into the box. Charlton lets it bounce. Header for Lewis. Paul is there. Back for Charlton. Bella Gray gets a boot on it. Still inside the box. Paul bringing it down. And now Bella Gray boots this one away for Ogden. Big opportunity here for the Trojans off the long throw-in. Fortunately for the Trojans, just couldn't get a shot off. Good opportunity by Paul. And Charlton inside the box. Cleared away well by Gray. And it goes out of bounds and out over on the far sideline. It'll be Burton again to throw it in. Will look to whip one into the box. Does. Headed away by Litz. And brought down by Bella Gray. Gray cuts it to the sideline. Now plays it up the sideline. Weston giving chase. Cut out by Toon. Goes out of bounds and out. Throwing for the Tigers over on the far sideline. As Sophia Gray bringing it in. Out of bounds. Throwing for the Trojans now. As Mia Somers will throw it in. Evans trying to get a foot on it. Out of bounds. Litz to throw it in for Ogden. Litz plays it in. Brought down by Bella Gray. Goes out of bounds and out once more. A throw-in coming up here for the Tigers. Now Gray. Bella Gray looking for options. Trying to get it back out towards the sideline. Nicely cut inside by Bella Gray. In possession here for the Tigers. Looking for G. And Bella Gray goes to ground on a late challenge. And a foul called. Free kick coming up here for the Tigers. See if they can get one off real quick before the end of the first. Ball whipped in. And that will go safely. Batted out by Fisher. And that'll do it here for the first half. We've reached the end of the first. And it is a Trojan lead as we head to the break. The Morgan Trojans up 1-0. Thanks to the goal from Macy Burton. Goal number 19 on the season for Burton as the number 4 taking the 1-0 lead over the number 6 here in the rematch of the 3A championship game. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick step away here on the Rewind Sports Network on KSLSports.com. We'll have second half action on the other side when we return. Welcome back into the Rewind Sports Network on KSLSports.com. Alex Napoles here with you at Zions Bank Stadium as we get ready to start the second half of this 3A Girls Soccer Championship game between the number 4 Morgan Trojans and the number 6 Ogden Tigers. It is the Trojans who hold a 1-0 lead as we get ready to start the second half behind a free kick goal from Macy Burton. And that is the difference so far as we get ready to start the second half. It'll be the Trojans of Morgan in the burgundy, shooting to the left of your screen here in the second half. And it will be the Ogden Tigers in the white, shooting to the right of your screen in the second half. Getting the final preparations ready here at Zions Bank. And we are underway as Ogden get us rolling again here in the second half. Trying to come back as they trail it 1-0 to start this second half. Ball goes out of bounds and out. The Trojans will throw it in over on the far sideline. As this one goes out of bounds and out. Bailey Anderson throwing it in. Charlton lets it bounce. Nicely done by Charlton to get past her mark. Charlton trying to keep possession here for Trojans. The Trojans does. Out wide to Peterson. Peterson cuts back. Tries to get it back to Charlton as that one goes out of bounds and out off the Ogden Tigers clearance. And a throw-in coming up for Morgan over on the far sideline. Ball played in by the Trojans. Lands at Charlton inside the box. Sophia Gray pokes it away and cleared away by Gonzalez. Still Morgan on the attack as Burton brings it back. Plays it to Anderson. Anderson trying to find Thomas. Heavy touch by Thomas. One back by the Tigers. Here comes Bella Gray. Bella Gray cuts back. Gets it to Sophia Gray. Sophia Gray back out towards the sideline. Burton goes to ground. And a foul called. A free kick coming up here for the Ogden Tigers as the goal scorer Macy Burton gets called for the foul. Free kick as the Tigers boot this one away. Now Buse in the attack in third, trying to get it back to Weston. There's Weston, cuts inside, trying to get around Toon. Nicely defended by Burton and Toon. And that ball poked away as it goes out of bounds and out. Throw in by Morgan. Another throw in coming up here for the Tigers. Ball comes in. Weston. Weston into the box. Weston goes down. A penalty called. L. Weston goes down inside the box. A penalty here for Ogden. And an opportunity to tie this one up. .37-39 on the clock, and Ogden right out of the gate with a big chance to get this one back on level terms. Weston goes down inside the box. A penalty called, and L. Weston stepping up to try to put the Tigers back on level terms. It'll be Weston against Maddie Fisher. From the penalty spot. Weston puts the ball down. The whistle. 5 steps back. Weston steps up and puts it into the bottom corner. L. Weston has tied it up for the Tigers.
Of Ogden. Morgan 1 and Ogden 1.
Back to level terms. L. Weston concedes the penalty. Weston takes the penalty and converts. All tied up in the 3A championship game. Cool, calm, and collected. L. Weston scores goal number 19 on the season as the Tigers tie it up. Trojans now on the attack, looking for a quick response as this ball comes up the sideline to Charlton. The cross comes in. Paul trying to get on the end of it. Paul bringing it down. Now at the end line is Paul trying to get it back to Charlton. Ball poked away by the Tigers. It'll be a throw in here for Morgan in the attacking third as Macy Burton runs up to the near sideline to take the throw for the Trojans. Burton throwing it in. Comes back to Burton. Ball whipped in. Goes back post. Peterson trying to track it down. Peterson gets ahead on it. As this one goes out of bounds and out for the goal kick. Ball comes out. And ball played up the far sideline for Ogden. Here comes a cut inside by Weston. Weston trying from distance. Macy Miller with a defensive stop. Ball ends at Moss inside the box. Takes the bounce. Thomas clears this one away. And a throw-in coming up here for the Ogden Tigers in the attacking third. Nicely done by Miller and Thomas. Defensively for the Trojans. Ogden with the throw. Ogden playing it in. Comes down to G. G tries to get it through, but it goes out of bounds and out for another Tigers throw. G. And now one back by Morgan. Thomas. Quickly one back. Litz here for Ogden as Charlton tries to keep this one in. Goes out of bounds and out for the Tigers throw. Now it's Lewis. Lewis will go back to Mallon. Senior goalkeeper here for the Tigers. Boots this one away. Out to the far sideline for Wallace. Good to see Abigail Wallace back into the game after coming out in the first half with a knock. Good to see her back in. Now it's Bella Gray over on the far sideline. Ball floated in. Tries to get it to Buse. Offside flag raised here on the near side. And it will not count. Free kick coming up here for the Trojans as Megan Buse caught in an offside position. .34-20 left to go here in the second half. El Weston tying it up from the spot for the Ogden Tigers early in the second half. Gets this one at 1-1. These two region rivals going head-to-head for the third time this season. Split the season series and region play one apiece. Ogden winning the first one 2-1. This ball given away inside the box. Here come the Trojans. Ball poked through. Paul looking for options. Now taking it to the corner. Poked away by the Tigers, and a corner kick coming up for the Trojans. Replay of this last year's championship game as well. The Tigers won in that one 3-1. Now a year later, a rematch for the Trojans. And an opportunity for Ogden to go back-to-back. The cross goes in, back post, the header, it's in! Goal for the Trojans! And it's Peterson who puts it into the back of the net, off the corner, back post header. And Morgan back into the lead.
Morgan 2, Ogden 1.
Kendall Peterson puts the Trojans up.
Goal, Morgan, number 12, Kendall Peterson.
And how about that response by the Trojans, conceding the penalty early in the first half to allow Ogden to tie it back up, but a quick response by the Trojans to retake the lead. Kendall Peterson with the goal. Ball back in play for Ogden as now they look for a response. Gonzalez, one back by the Trojans. Now one back by the Tigers. Here comes Bella Gray. And nice step by Bailey Anderson to boot this one away. Brought in by Ogden. Hannah Lewis was trying to get it to G. G thought she had a runner on the wing. Let it roll through. And it'll go out of bounds and out. A throw in here for Morgan on the near sideline. Paul will boot this one up. Sophia Gray with the header. Gets it into Bella Gray. And now ball up the sideline Booted away by the Trojans, giving chase here Gonzalez, as Gonzalez has to just play this one out. It'll be a throw-in for the Trojans over on the far sideline. Ball in, brought down by Paul, and ball booted away. Moss gets a touch as it goes out of bounds and out. Throw in here for Morgan on the near sideline. It'll be Somers to throw it in. Brought down by Thompson, who takes a heavy touch. And that ball back out of bounds and out. This time for a Ogden throw in here on the near sideline. Ball played in to G. Out of bounds once more. Another throw-in coming up here this time for the Ogden Tigers. Up the sideline, intercepted by Thomas. And it'll go out of bounds once more. Another throw-in coming up here for Ogden. .31 minutes left to go here in the second half. What a start we've had here to the second half. A penalty for Ogden to tie it up. And then on the other end, Peterson coming through with the go-ahead goal to put the Trojans back on top. 2 goals in the first 10 minutes of the second half as the Trojans lead it 2-1. Ball goes out of bounds and out over on the far sideline. Throw-in coming up for Morgan. 30-30 left to go. Out of bounds and out over on that far sideline. Burton to throw it in for Morgan. Burton does a good job on these long throw-ins. We'll see if she can play one in here on the throw. There's the long throw from Burton. Comes into Thomas. Thomas takes a touch. Gets it out to Peterson, the goal scorer. Ball headed away by Hannah Lewis. Ogden back in possession with Buse. Quickly won back by Burton. Burton cuts back. Bailey Anderson with a nice step as Bella Gray here in possession for the Tigers. Gray will play it up the sideline, looking for Buse. Ball put it away by Macy Miller. As this one goes out of bounds and out for the Tigers throw over on the far sideline. It'll be Wallace to throw it in. Abigail Wallace playing it in. Weston takes a touch. Weston up the sideline, cuts back, looks for support, gets it to Bella Gray. Bella Gray teeing up a shot from distance and can't keep that one on frame. It goes over and out for the goal kick. Nice look by Bella Gray from the long distance effort. And unfortunately can't put that one on frame as a substitution coming up here for the Tigers.
Alina Aparicio.
Aparicio into the game for Ogden. G takes a touch, gets to Weston. Weston brings it down, intercepted by Thomas. Now the Trojans coming the other way with Paul. Lacey Paul cuts inside. Nicely done by Paul into the middle. Paul looking for options. Tries to get it up over the top to Peterson. And instead intercepted by the Tigers. Here's Sophia Gray on the near sideline. Gray boots one up to Weston. Weston bringing it down against Toon. Over Toon. Toon doing a good job to come back and tried to poke that one away. Weston still in possession. The Trojans doing their best to win it back. Now here's Evans who pokes this one up and away. Charlton trying to bring it in. Charlton towards the sideline. Now up for Peterson. Wallace lets that one roll through. Nicely done by Wallace. And stolen by Peterson. The cross comes in, headed away by Lewis. And a corner kick coming up here for the Trojans. Corner kick and a set-piece opportunity coming up for the Morgan Trojans, looking for an opportunity to extend this lead. Four Trojans inside the box, lined up at the back post. Set-piece opportunity coming up for the Morgan Trojans as ball whipped in, goes near post, poked through, and cleared away by the Tigers. Could have been dangerous for Morgan as the cross comes in. Peterson in the box, tries to volley it. And the whistle as an Ogden Tiger down after the play. We have a stoppage in play here to check on the Tiger player down. With 27:05, the Ogden training staff onto the field. And while they take a look at the Tiger down, we'll take a quick step aside here on the Rewind Sports Network. Back into Zions Bank,
Into the Ogden lineup.
Tiger down after the play was Sophia Gray. Good to see her back on her feet, walking over towards the far sideline as she'll have to come off. Hope to see her return. And now a opportunity here for Mallon to clear this one away for the Tigers. With 27 minutes left to play, ball back in play with Paul getting a header on it. Comes down to Thomas. Thomas plays it to Litz. Litz to the near sideline for G. Ball given away. Paul winning it back for the Trojans. Charlton tries to play it back in towards the middle, looking for Evans. Takes a deflection, cleared away by the Tigers. And that ball will slip through and out. Throw in here for Morgan on the near sideline. Litz gets a foot on it, brought in by Paul. Paul cuts it back. Does a good job to keep that one in bounds. Paul looking for options. Gets it up, trying to get it to Evans. Aparicio doing a good job to bring it in for the Tigers. Now here comes Bella Gray. Bella Gray with time and space gets around Burton. Burton goes to ground. Bella Gray still on her feet. And a foul called. A free kick coming up here for the Ogden Tigers as Macy Burton called for the foul. Burton pleading her case. And a free kick coming up here for the Tigers in a dangerous spot. Only 2 on the wall for the Trojans. One on the wall. 2 on the wall for the Trojans. As Burton and Evans. Bella Gray for the free kick. Long distance free kick coming up here for the Tigers. 3 on the wall now for the Trojans. Bella Gray steps up, takes the shot, and into the hands safely of Maddie Fisher. Fisher boots this one away. And Thomas commits the foul. Free kick coming up here for the Trojans. Or excuse me. Yes, it'll be for the Tigers as that ball taken quickly. Buse. Ball cleared away by Macy Miller, out of bounds and out. Throw in coming up here for Morgan. Substitution coming up for the Trojans as Sage Jones back into the game.
55, Sage Jones.
Sage Jones into the game. Off comes Lily Evans. Throwing for Morgan over on that far sideline. Charlton lets it go. Hannah Lewis comes across, boots this one out. Comes down to Bella Gray for the Tigers. Ball booted away. Hannah Lewis gets this one away. Now it's Gray. Gray takes a touch. Gray looks to play it in for Buse. Buse cuts inside. And Macy Miller. How about Macy Miller? Doing a phenomenal job again. She is everywhere on the defensive side for the Morgan Trojans. Clears this one away. Out of bounds and out. Tigers throwing coming up Macy Miller, the senior defender, continues the stellar performance from the semifinal matchup and brings it into the 3A championship game. Buse bringing it in for the Tigers. Now falls to Weston. Weston across to Buse. Buse at the top of the 18 looking for options. Has to support himself with Aparicio, taking a shot from distance. And just wide of the post. Not a bad effort, not a bad look there from Alina Aparicio for the Ogden Tigers. Just wide of this near post for Maddie Fisher as it goes out of bounds and out. A goal kick here for Morgan. And this one's booted away. Charlton bringing it in for the Trojans. Step by Gonzalez. Cleared away by Litz. Takes a heavy touch off of Thomas. Now it's Amy Thomas. And ball booted away by the Tigers. Out of bounds and out. We'll have a throw-in coming up for the Trojans over on the near sideline. Or on the far sideline, excuse me. Ball played in for Burton, who clears it away. Throw in for the Tigers. And that one back out of bounds and out. And Burton comes across, makes a tackle. Bella Gray pleading her case, wants the foul. And that one will go out of bounds and out. A throw-in over for the Tigers over on that far sideline. There will be a foul. Foul committed by Burton and a free kick here for the Tigers. Cleared away by the Trojans. Here comes Paul. Paul up the near sideline. Paul carries. Paul trying to get around Litz. Litz comes across, boots this one away. And a throw in here for Morgan on the near sideline. Halfway through the second half. 20 minutes left to play here in the 3A championship game. And it is the Morgan Trojans leading it 2-1 behind goals from Macy Burton in the first half. A second half goal from Kendall Peterson off a corner. And Elle Weston scoring off a penalty for the Ogden Tigers early in the second half. And that is the difference so far here in this 3A championship game. Again, halfway through, Paul with possession. Paul takes a bounce off of Wallace. Kendall Peterson trying to get to the end of it. Peterson, the goal scorer, now taking it up the sideline, trying to cross it into the box, takes a deflection. Wallace clears it away. Ogden in possession with Buse. Buse turns to Gray. Gray carries with time and space. Gray. Bella Gray cuts back. Looking for options. Burton defending. Bella Gray slows it down, gets it to Sophia Gray, back to Bella Gray. Nice give and go here from the Tigers as Bella Gray with an opportunity. Pokes one through, trying to find G, cleared away by the Trojans. Peterson trying to get onto it. Abigail Wallace playing it up, lands at Buse. Cleared away by Bailey Anderson for Morgan. Throw in for the Tigers over on the far sideline. As this ball's played in and cleared away by Emma Toon. Goes out of bounds and out. A throw in here for the Ogden Tigers on the far sideline. It'll be Wallace to throw it in. Opportunity here for the Tigers. Try to get into the attacking third. Weston brings it down just outside the box. Cuts back, goes up the sideline. Cuts it back, gets it to Gray. Now it's Bella Gray. Bella Gray whips it in. Goes near post. And Maddie Fisher there to collect for the Trojans. Fisher here with an opportunity to clear this one away for Morgan. Bounces over Litz. Paul giving chase. Ball cleared away by Litz. Throw it now for the Trojans here on the near sideline. It'll be Summers to throw it in. Aparicio with the header. Comes down to Summers. Hannah Lewis with the header. Cleared away by the Tigers. Weston trying to bring it in. Nicely won back by Thomas. Thomas pokes one through. Peterson giving chase. And Peterson can't keep this one from going out. It'll be a throw-in for the Tigers. Played in quick. And this one will roll back out of bounds and out. Another throw-in for Ogden coming up on that far sideline. Ball played in. As that ball goes out of bounds and out, nicely shielded by Abigail Wallace. And a goal kick coming up here for the Tigers. Goal kick here for Ogden with 16 minutes left to play in the second half. The Tigers trail 2-1. Ball back with the Trojans as Morgan in possession. Headed away by Charlton. It goes out. Tigers throw. Brought in by Gray. Gets it to G. G cuts back. Gets it back out to Sophia Gray. Sophia Gray cuts back inside. Gray looking to play up the sideline, intercepted by Somers. As this one will go out of bounds and out for the throw. Ogden trying to boot this one away, nicely intercepted by Paul. In for Sage Jones and cleared away by Litz for the Tigers. Buse trying to bring that one in. Wallace with the touch. Jones poking it back. And a foul called. A free kick coming up here for the Morgan Trojans as Sage Jones goes to ground. A foul called. Free kick coming up. And Macy Burton will take. Long distance free kick coming up again from Burton. Scored one in the first half. See if she decides to go for goal again on this one. Macy Burton stepping up, takes the shot, goes for goal, and Mallon there this time. Grace Mallon reads it well and brings it in for the Tigers. Ball booted away by Ogden. Burton lets it bounce. Burton with the header. Toon gets a foot on it. Aparicio for Ogden. Interception. Back to Toon. And nice step by Sophia Gray. Takes a deflection out of bounds and out. Trojan throw. Mia Somers here on the near sideline to throw it in. Mia plays it in. Out of bounds and out once more. Another throw coming up here for the Trojans on the near sideline. Somers again to throw it in. Somers plays it in up the sideline. Looking for Charlton. Out of bounds once more. Another Morgan Trojans throw on the near sideline. It'll be Burton running over to throw it in. Burton does a really good job on those long throw-ins. We'll see if she decides to whip it into the box from here. Burton, long throw, goes near post. Charlton there, headed into the box and cleared away by Bella Gray. Back out of bounds, and Al Burton will let this one go out as Macy Burton gets ready for another long throw into the box. Here in the attacking third, Burton will throw it in. Long throw in near post. Charlton trying to bring it in, and a handball called against the Trojans. A free kick coming up here for the Tigers and an opportunity to put this one away as they look for the equalizer here in the second half. Out of bounds, as we'll have a Ogden throw in here on the near sideline. Substitution prior to.
Substitution for Ogden, number 25.
Moss back into the game.
Moss.
Coming off is number 4, Aparicio. Throwing for the Tigers on the near sideline. Litz to throw it in. Litz plays it in. Out of bounds and out once more. Trojans ball. Throw in on the near sideline. Throw in by the Trojans. Comes back out to Summers. Nice step by Bella Gray. Cleared away by the Tigers. Out of bounds and out once more. Another throw in here for Morgan. .11:35 left to go. Summers to throw it in. Ball put it away by Litz. Moss pokes it through. Litz trying to get on the end of it, and that one goes out for the Morgan throw. Ball back in play. Paul bringing it down. Thomas trying to poke it through. Out of bounds and out once more. Another throw in, this time for the Tigers here on the near sideline. Ball thrown in by Litz. Buse lets it bounce. Thomas comes across, wins it back for the Trojans. Booted away by Miller as this one goes out of bounds and out. Throw in coming up here for the Tigers. Takes a deflection off of Buse. And so this one goes out. Trojans to throw as they get possession back. Trojans throw it in. It'll be Mia Summers to throw it in. Ball booted away. Here comes Paul, winning it back for Morgan. Ball played in, Peterson into the box. Malinoff for line, misses the ball. Peterson keeps it in, the cross comes in, booted away by Gonzalez. And a big opportunity for the Trojans. What a ball played in by Paul. Peterson trying to get on the end of it, beats Malin, and then just can't corral it in to put it past. Cleared away by the Tigers. Throwing for the Trojans on that far sideline. Ball back out. Burton takes it up the sideline, cuts inside. Towards the top of the 18 for Charlton. Charlton playing it back now to Anderson. Whipped in. Cleared away by Buse. Moss tracking it down. Ball played over the top. Paul is there. Malinoff for line, and Lacey Paul down after the play. As we have a stoppage in play with 8:25 left to go. Substitution coming up here for the Trojans. It'll be Crowther checking in for Paul. And so on the training staff here for the Morgan Trojans head onto the field to take a look at number 16, Lacey Paul. We'll take a quick step aside here on the Rewind Sports Network. Good to see Lacey Paul back up on her feet. Heads to the near sideline. Comes out for the Trojans. Crowther checking in for Paul. And ball back in play. With time winding down here in the second half. 8:43 left to go. The Trojans up 2-1. That ball played through. Mallon will pick it up safely for the Tigers. And the Tigers have 8:30 left to try to tie this one up, to force overtime, or see if they can come back as the defending champions here in trouble in the 3A championship game. Miller comes across. Buse trying to win it back. Weston there. And that ball cleared away by Macy Miller, who is down after the play. Heavy collision there with Weston. And we'll have another stoppage here as a Macy Miller took a blow after the clearance. Good to see Miller back up on her feet. As this one will get back in play. Throw in for the Tigers over on the far sideline. Ball played in. Comes out to Weston. And ball put it away. Out of bounds and out. A throw in for the Tigers in the attacking third. Comes down now to Bella Gray. Gray cuts back against Burton. Back inside. And nicely defended by Macy Miller, who steps up and boots this one out. Charlton tracking it down for the Trojans. Charlton defended by G. Hannah Lewis boots this one away. Comes down now to Gonzalez. Sage Jones trying to intercept. And now Gray in possession. Plays it through to Buse. Nice ball played in to Megan Buse. Up the sideline, defended by Miller. Buse looking for options. Has to play back to G. G tries to get it back to Buse. And cleared away by the Trojans. Crowther bringing it in. Comes down now to G. To Litz. Litz in the middle for Moss. Moss leaves it for Sophia Gray. Gray cuts back. Gray still on the ball. Now it's G. Buse. Booted away by Macy Miller. Bella Gray with the header. Moss looking to get it back to Sophia Gray. And taken down. A foul called. And a free kick coming up here. Sage Jones commits the foul. Yellow card caution issued to Sage Jones.
Your attention please, the yellow card has been assessed against number 55, Sage Jones of Morgan. Substitutions for the Trojans, number 16, Lacey Ball, and number 10, Lily Evans.
And some conversations being had by the officials before we get this ball back into play. And a free kick coming up here for the Ogden Tigers. Hannah Lewis standing over the ball to take the free kick. Ogden will try to put one into the box, looking to tie this one up. Lewis floats one in and straight into the hands of Maddie Fisher. Nicely read by the Trojans goalkeeper as this one booted up and away. Ball goes out of bounds and out.
Into the Ogden lineup, number 4, Alina Aparicio.
Aparicio.
Morgan, number 16, Lacey Paul.
Into the game. Bella Gray into the game for Ogden. Lacey Paul back into the game for the Morgan Trojans. Here with 5:30 left to go in this second half. One back by Paul. Poke through. Charlton trying to bring it in. Aparicio back for the Tigers. Now Thomas with the opportunity as Burton cuts it out for the Trojans. Here comes Macy Miller who boots this one away. Paul trying to get it through. Bella Gray giving chase. Gray, step over against Burton, defending, cuts back inside. Gray, and nicely cut out by Lily Evans. Mia Somers gets a touch. Out wide to Weston. Weston into the, cuts inside and booted away by Toon. Ball comes back into the attacking third for the Tigers as Bella Gray goes to ground. A ball goes out of bounds. Ogden throws it in. Turned by Weston. Weston does a good job. Macy Miller boots this one out. Lands at Gray. Gray looking for options. Gray now up the sideline against Burton. Burton, Bella Gray goes down, nothing there as Burton will boot this one up and away, clearing it out for the Trojans. And the flag raised for a foul called as, oh, it'll go out of bounds. Throw-in coming up here on the far sideline. No, it is a foul. Ball whipped in by Lewis into the box, goes back post. Buse is there, can't put it on frame. Megan Buse found herself on marks at the back post, had the shot, and couldn't keep it down. It goes over the bar and out. A goal kick coming up here for the Trojans. Megan Buse had it and couldn't put it in. Goes over the bar. Here comes the ball now for the Trojans as Paul brings it down. Paul turns, tries to get it back towards the sideline. Heavy touch as it goes out of bounds and out. Ball back in play. Up the sideline for Moss. And that one goes out. A throw-in coming up here for the Morgan Trojans. Mia Somers to throw it in. G brings it in, a handball and a free kick coming up here for the Morgan Trojans. And an opportunity to boot this one away, take some time off the clock. As time really beginning to dwindle now for the defending champions. Ogden down 2-1. Ball booted up the sideline to Paul. Paul taking it to the corner. As Lacey Paul gets it up the end line, pokes it through to Evans. Evans trying to get it back to Paul. Cleared away by the Tigers. Miller will boot this one away. Aparicio with the header. Intercepted by Thomas. Thomas will just poke that one as it goes out of bounds and out. A goal kick coming up here for the Ogden Tigers with 1:40 left Aparicio brings it in. Looking for Gray. Headed by Burton. Comes out now to Gonzalez. Paul is intercepted by G. G plays it up in the direction of Moss. And booted away by the Trojans. Thomas Peterson gets it to Charlton. Charlton flicks it through with a header. Pulls in. Mallon off her line. And Mallon reads it well. Taken away quickly by the Ogden Tigers. And now Peterson.
Please stay up at the pitch. Please do not come onto the pitch. Thank you.
Ball goes out for the Tigers. Here's Bella Gray who brings it down. Gray turns. This could be one of the last opportunities for the Tigers. Bella Gray step over. Now looking for options. Trying to direct some traffic. Ogden with one of their final chances. Poked away by Burton. Macy Miller now carries up. Booted away. And it goes out of bounds. And now Ogden to throw it in with 30 seconds left. Lewis. And an Ogden player down will have a stoppage in play as Litz down momentarily for the Tigers. Stoppage in play with 22 seconds on the clock. Throw in for the Tigers coming up. Still 22 on the clock. Ball back in play. Now in for Aparicio. Fisher off her line, collects. And the Trojans here can watch the clock tick away. Fisher boots this one out. The countdown. Peterson boots it up and over, and that'll do it. The Morgan Trojans have done it. Celebrations for the Trojans as they are the 3A state champions.
Ladies and gentlemen, students are reminded to stay off the pitch. We will have the post-game award ceremonies in just a few moments. Once again, please do not go onto the pitch.
A year ago, the Trojans and the Ogden Tigers battled it out in the championship game. The Trojans fell to Ogden. And this year in the rematch, the Trojans are able to walk away with a 2-1 win as they are your 3A state champions. Down goes the defending champs in the Ogden Tigers. Heartbreak for Ogden. Looking to go back to back. Not to be, as Macy Burton scored early in the first off a golazo of a free kick. Ogden ties it up with the penalty. But the Trojans come back with a goal from Kendall Peterson off the corner. And that is how we get the 2-1 scoreline. The Trojans again are the state champions. State championship number 4 for the Morgan Trojans. And their first since 2020. We await the trophy presentations here at Zions Bank Stadium. We'll have the second place trophy presented to the Ogden Tigers momentarily, followed by the presentation of the 3A championship trophy to the Morgan Trojans. As Morgan heading over now to show their sportsmanship and give the high fives to the Ogden Tigers, who again played a good game, a valiant effort by the defending champions. coming in as the number 6 seed had a chance to defend their crown. And in the end, it is the Trojans who spoil the party and come out on top. Ovation over for the Tigers over on the far sideline as the parents on their feet, cheering on their side.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please direct your attention to the center of the pitch for the awards presentation. Representing the Utah High School Activities Association is Mr. Chris Shipman, Assistant Director of the UHSAA. We begin the award ceremonies with the presentation of the second place trophy in the 3A soccer tournament to the Ogden Tigers.
So the second place trophy making its way over to the far sideline to be presented to the Ogden Tigers. Again, the defending champions doing a good job this season to come back to the championship game with an opportunity to defend their crown and fall short.
Is Mr. Brennan Jackson, Assistant Director over soccer for the UHSAA, who will present the state championship trophy.
And now we head towards the south goal as the first place trophy makes its way over to Morgan.
Once again, everyone, please remain off of the pitch. Please do not come onto the pitch. Thank you.
Trophy handed off to Toon. And there it is! The Morgan Trojans are your 3A state champions! Championship number 4 for the Trojans! Smiles and celebrations on the near sideline as the Trojans in their burgundy hold up the first place trophy for the 3A girls soccer. And that'll do it here for us on the Rewind Sports Network on KSLSports.com. I'm Alex Napolis. A huge shout out to Tino on the camera for us today. And from the entire Rewind Sports family, we thank you for watching. Don't go anywhere. More championship soccer action on the other side. The American Heritage Patriots taking on the Waterford Ravens. Coming up next here on KSLSports.com.